Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now I am back up at Linear Fisheries. I know what you're all thinking, you're back there again, but this time of year is a brilliant time of year to come up onto this complex. The bank's quietened down. I got here about 3 hours ago and I've actually had to drive around quite a lot of the lakes because I'm astounded at just how quiet they are. You know, I could get on any lake in pretty much any peg that I want to go on. Unbelievable. I've chose to come back on B1 purely and simply because it has done a couple of fish over the past few days and I can sort of build a bit of a picture of where they've come from. I've managed to get near, not exactly where they are or where they've been coming from, but I've got an option to move tomorrow, so it's a good start. But yeah, I'm back down here on B1 fishing for umpteenth amount of 30s, a boatload of 40s and 250 pounders. So let's get into it straight away. Little pan around to the swim. Look at them lines. We tramming. 28 wraps. Looking good. Got the green line on again. That's a casting line for those of you that asked the question. It's a prototype one from Korda. Great line. Just makes fishing at range so much easier. And I just want to touch on that quickly because a lot of people say, oh, you're not worried about those fish bumping into that line. Now, I always liken it, if I was walking down the road and there was a tripwire across and I couldn't see it and I tripped over it, I'd absolutely brick myself. But if there was a bit of red and white tape there, I'd just step over it. And I sort of liken that to the same with my line, you know. If the fish can see it, they swim around it, they know they're being fished for, there's no danger. If they can't see it and they touch it, they bolt. But anyway, that's my theory on the line. I might be completely wrong, but I certainly don't think that by using that, I get any less bites. So let's have a little goose across B1 now, because a lot of people say, oh, you get pegs closed all the time. You're always in the best pegs. Look how empty this is. 26, 25 free, someone in 24, there's someone in 23, no one in 22, and someone in 21. Other than that, there is only 3 guys down. Oh, let me get you on one so we've got good clarity. There is only 3 guys down to my right hand side in 7, 8 and 9. It is dead up here. One of Britain's best big fish day ticket carp waters. I'm telling you, you need to get up here and have a go. But them rods are out. I'm going to go back to the bivvy. I'm going to give you a little bit more of a description about what's going on and what I'm going to be up to. But here we are, back for another vlog. Well, I managed to get the rods out and bait over the top before this lot came down. It is now hammering it down. The wind's died down, but it is due to pick back up. Yeah, like I say, here we are up on B1, peg 10. And what's nice is we've got a nice little platform area up here, means I can bivvy up away from the water, so I'm not really sort of in the way, because normally you'd have to bivvy up down there, which makes it quite tight, but that rain is smacking against the top of this bivvy. I'm fishing 28 rod lengths, which is a nice comfortable distance to hit the clip. Again, a lot of people are obsessed, it seems to be nowadays, you know, people will message me that they've been fishing before they even tell me what they've caught. They want to tell me how far they're fishing, and it seems an obsession in this day and age to, let me address you. Seems an obsession in this day and age to constantly talk about distance. I'm fishing at 30 wraps. Whoop-de-doo. Most people that say they're fishing 30 wraps are not fishing 30 wraps. Let me tell you, I do a lot of fishing, a lot of different venues. I've not seen a lot of anglers that can accurately fish at 120 yards. I've seen people that can cast 120 yards, but there's a huge difference between casting and fishing. So, like I say, they're out there. 28 wraps, lovely comfortable distance for me. I've got my 12/6 4-pound greens on. I've got the green line on, which obviously a casting line makes it so much easier. This is the second batch of that line that I've had, and it is a brilliant line. Got 3 rigs out there. As we get into the vlog, I do a couple more Tubby's Tom's technical tips. But the rods are out, it's chucking it down the rain. I've got a cooler bag full of food. I'm going to sort of half hitch the door up letterbox style, set the cooker up inside here. Always make sure you've got your ventilation if you are using a cooker inside your bivvy. Before anyone jumps on me and is like, you shouldn't use it. You can use a bivvy inside. You can use a bivvy inside your cooker. No, you can't. You can use a cooker inside of your bivvy, but always make sure you've got ventilation. And something else that I always do is I just disconnect that gas bottle before I go to bed. You know, because sometimes no matter how much you've turned it off, it could always leak a little bit. And the last thing that you want to be doing is waking up and feeling really rough, or at worst case, not waking up at all. And this does happen. So yeah, it's not a Tubby's Tom technical top tip. That is actually a Tubby Tom's life-saving tip. So yeah, I'm going to cook myself some food, Them rods are out there. It's just gone 3 o'clock. I'm not redoing them now. It's going to be dark in an hour. Just chucking it down with rain. I'll update you again just after dark. Hopefully we're here on B1 and we can catch a few more of these big old carp that swim around in it. Well, nothing's happened just yet. It's just gone 9 o'clock. This is sort of the time now when, well, it's windy now. This is the sort of time now when it kicks off on B1. From sort of like 9 o'clock in the evening right the way through, pretty much as long as you want to carry on the action for. But I said that last time I fished up here. I had one bite just before it got dark and I didn't catch anything else, but I had a nice bit of tea. I had some chicken and chorizo kebab wraps with a little bit of mint sauce, lovely. I'll put a few more spods out just after dark, probably about 6 o'clock. And that's about it really. The wind is directly off my back, which will make recasting at night easier if I do get a bite. Obviously if I catch I'm going to stay up and make the most of it, because, you know, like I keep saying, there's a lot of big fish in here now. But other than that, there's not really a lot else you can do. I can't listen for anything because it's that bloody windy, you can't hear anything. There's a couple of guys on the far bank who must be getting an absolute pounding from this wind. But this lake can fish well when it's really windy, but also the undertow can sort of play havoc with the fish and also your baiting as well. So you've got to try and take all that into consideration. But there's so many factors that you've got to consider when you're fishing at distance and it's windy on a big lake. Sometimes getting a bite really is just luck. So I'm hoping that I can ride my luck for my first bite. But yeah, I'm gonna get my head down, and hopefully the next time I pick this phone up is with a carp in the landing net. Well, good morning. The next time I picked my phone up wasn't with a carp. You know why? Because I didn't catch anything. That's what B1 can be like. I went to bed full of confidence, woke up this morning, and yeah, rather than dragging my head along the floor, I thought, you know what? It's not happening on here. I'm going to make a move. And to be honest with you, this isn't me making an excuse. Before I come up here, obviously my last vlog, assuming that my wharf one hasn't gone out before this, my last vlog, I actually fished here on the Syndicate Lake at Linear, and this is where I wanted to come and have another go. So it was always playing in the back of my mind, you know, go back to the Syndicate, what you're doing on B1, go and have a go on Unity. So I packed up this morning, 6:30. I was waiting for the gates to open at 7. I've had a walk around Unity, seen a couple of fish show, flicked a lead out, found a nice spot. I've got a van full of wet kit, which I'm going to spin around and show you. There, little Coke on the go there, a little bit of morning fuel to get me going. The old current bun is just coming up there above the old Portaloo, which, let me tell you, that's a hard poo in the winter in one of them. Whew, you got to hover for a few seconds, ain't you, to acclimatise to the freezing cold seat. I'm going to be fishing in this peg here, which is known as the car park point. Once this sun comes up all day, it's going to beat on this point, and I've got a lot of water in front of me. Not that you can see because there's a hedgerow there, but it looks a good area. The opposite end to where I caught from last time, but when I was here last time, a lot of fish were showing up this end, so I think it's a good shout. I'm confident in here. I'm at least going to give it a night in here. I've still got one more night if I need it. So let's get the gear out and let's fish on Unity for a night. The old rods are out then. There's another monstrous plane coming out of Bryce Norton, goes overhead. Found a little spot. You can probably see the little clump of tall trees behind me. Just found a little area out there, chucked out, went down with a nice thump and dragged it back, and it was nice and clear. The lake's very, very shallow, so most of the clear spots, in fact all the clear spots that you find, are predominantly gravel, because obviously the weed's growing in all the silt, and even though the weed was cut back in the summer, because we've had quite mild weather, there is still a little bit of weed growth out there, so I've sort of tucked myself up as tight as what I possibly can do to a bit of fresh weed. Got a nice bit of current bun out, and I'm going to take you into the old bivouac because I just had myself a little bit of breakfast, and I just kind of got some water from the van. I'm going to show you this cooker because I put this on my Instagram and it got a lot of response. A sadimai, if that's how you say it. Now, I got this off of Amazon and it was 23 quid. Now, what I like about it as well, it's got a really long hose. So obviously this time of year, if you are using a cooker, that there, I can either, like I've already said, I unscrewed the gas bottle anyway, but if you really want to be extra cautious, you can put that outside of your bivvy and then run the run the hose inside. But yeah, that there is a proper piece of kit. Now, a few people have messaged me and said, oh, I bet with those 5 burners there, it's really juicy on gas. Don't get me wrong, it does drink a bit of juice, but it boils a kettle in no time, and it's a nice big flat surface to cook from. So when you put your pots and pans on there, they're not going to be wobbling off. But yeah, I'm going to put the link in the description. I would put it up on the screen now, but I'm not that clever and I don't know how to do it. So if you go over to the description, if you want to get one of these, and the last time I checked, they were £23.95. So they're mega cheap and they're brilliant. And the legs fold in, that folds in. Actually comes with a clicker that works. I've never ever had a cooker with a clicker that works. So yeah, it's a brilliant piece of kit. Anyway, I'm going to stop waffling on about that. Go over to the description and you will see there the link for that very cooker. There's the view from the old bivvy then. It's looking good. Like I say, I was only here a few weeks ago and I had a couple, so I say not a lot's changed. We have had a bit of a bout of cold weather, but much like before, there was one other guy. There's one other guy, he's just over there in a peg known as the Tall Oaks, which to be fair was somewhere that I fancied, but he only arrived this morning. But like I say, when I come around this side, I've seen a few fish show. Nothing directly in line with where I'm fishing, which is to this tree here, but I've seen fish show short left, short right, sorry, and long left. So I know there's definitely carp out here. Obviously they're still active, they're swimming. I've got 3 rods out, exactly what I've done before in the mix. Got a bit of mulched up boilies, sweet corn, hemp, and I've got a little bit of chopped worm in there as well. And then hook baits, I'm just fishing multi-rigs, and on the hook I've got little bits of foam, a bit of foam on 2, and I've got half a peach and pepper on the other one, just topped off with 7 maggots. So it's looking good. I've had some breakfast down there. Oh, can't show you too much of that bait, but that bait, let me tell you, is going to take the world by storm. Well, as it gets a bit closer, it's probably quite a good talking point, this. Let's see if I lift that rod up there. I can just see my other lines coming out of the water. Now when you lift it like that, that's not going to have moved those rods, or those leads should I say. And by having a tight line, you can lift it like that and you can see exactly where the fish is. You know, if the fish is to the right of my rods, I lift it up and there's no movement on those lines. I know the fish is over those lines, but if it's lifting the lines up like it did just then, I know that the fish is underneath. So I just keep the rod low down to the left and just guide him back round. Probably one of the most common questions I get asked when fishing 3 rods on a spot is, don't you get problems with your other lines? And the answer is no, because you're fishing tight lines, so it's easy to deal with other lines, you know. He's kicking up a right old stink. You can see that there, well, that's just kicked up. Imagine what they're doing when you're getting a bite out on the spot. I bet if you was to put a drone above where I'm fishing now, you'll probably see a bit of a cloud coming off the spot where they're churning it up. I know I've only had 1 bite, but I'll bet me bottom dollar there's a few more carp out there. And I'll apologise, I'm going to use this on my vlog. This will be in portrait, this footage, so it will change slightly because these meta glasses don't film in landscape, but it adds a different aspect to it, doesn't it? There it is. 3 hours later. There he is. Come on, Mr. Carp. Is he finally defeated? You've got no need to go over that way, have you? Because that's where my other lines are. You know that is where they are. Come on in. There we go. Absolutely nailed. First one of the session. Come on. It's a lovely looking carp as well, that. There's the rig, the old multi-rig. That the oh, there you are. That the fish is obliterated, but I just checked the hook. The hook's still fine. I'm going to realign all of that. It's on the old right-hander, which is interesting because that was the rod that I probably put least bait over because it's right on the edge of the spot. But that seagull, old Stephen Seagull, just sitting there, that was where that bad boy just come from. And he ain't a bad fish. I'm not sure exactly how big, but it's a carp. Right, I'm going to get the rod back out. Oh, excuse me, a little bit of bait over the top, and I'll show you him. Well, he was a little bit bigger than what I thought. 23 pound and 12 ounces. Really nice fish. Freezing cold. It's already starting to get little bits of argulus and leeches on them. Like I say, there's not a lot of weed left in it, but the reason why I come around here is because even though I had seen them over this sort of side, this is primarily, there's another one, this is primarily the weedier side, and even though the weed is dying down, There's still a bit out there on the bottom, which they're getting a bit of warmth from, but look at that. What a start, eh? £23 and 12 ounces of glorious Unity mirror carp. And I don't reckon them rods have been out there no longer than 2 hours. I love carp fishing. I've put my hat on just to make it look even more wintry. There's always a massive debate, isn't there? When does winter start? But let me tell you, once this hat goes on and I come out of shorts, that's winter. There we go. Off the mark here on Unity. Looks like we've got a little nibble going on. Well, I was having a little siesta. Not that there's really much time in the day in the winter to have a siesta. And the old left hand bobbing, just on a few ups and downs, looked out, and there was a few tufties out there, but it turned out that it wasn't a tufty. It was another carp, another nice one, another scaly one. As the old chinook just starts to make its way across the lake. That looks proper moody, that though, doesn't it? Look at that. She's looking moody out there, but we've got ourselves another carp. That's one on the left rod now, one on the right rod. It's about 2:45. So what I'm going to do is, rather than put that rod out now, I'm going to get this fish sorted, redo all three of them, more bait over the top. They're done for the night then. Noisy them, ain't they, them old chinooks. Carp number 2. Let's find his best side. I reckon it's this side. This one, £20, 4 ounces. That will do. 2 bites, 2 20s. Another really, really nice scaly carp as well. Look at that. I'll tell you what, these Unity fish really are special. And I see a picture not long ago of a fish out of here, 40 pounder, or near 40 pound, that's just like this, proper scaly one. So whilst I'm targeting and would like to catch more of those ghosties, I always find now that with me fishing, I like to put myself a few little targets on the board, and that scaly is one of them. But look at that. What a lovely looking scaly mirror carp. Right, let's get the rods back out, redone, and hopefully the night is going to be prolific. Lovely. This is crazy. The phone is still on the tripod from that fish. I put it back. I rechuck the 3 rods ready for the night. I made about 4 or 5 proper mess up chucks. Bearing in mind where I'm fishing, it's only about 6 foot deep. Finally got it out there, sat back down, just started chopping up a little bit of fresh worm, and it's ripped off again. So I got another one, 3rd one, and this one, he's a bit bigger, this one. Don't know if he's a 30, but he's definitely a lot bigger than the other 2 that I've had, which is a good sign. But now it's gone flat calm. It's really, really warm, you know. Might even take my hat off. But gonna get this last rod out, because then I've got all 3 rods out fishing. We'll get this fish out, then I'm gonna put some bait out. But it was definitely worth the move from B1 onto here. Like I always say, if it ain't happening, there's always a way to make it happen. It's in the name. Well, he is the biggest one so far. £30 and 6 ounces. A bit like that one, remember that one on the last vlog, the funny shaped one? He's a little bit like that one. It's almost like needs more of a belly, but he's very front heavy. There he is. Carp number 3. First one over the old magical £30 mark. Not that I'm complaining with 220s, because as you all know, I appreciate carp no matter how big they are. I'm going to turn around on the other side. Don't want to keep them out too long. Light is fading fast. I'll tell you what, I'm not going to keep mentioning it, but they're like blocks of ice. It'll soon be that time of year, wouldn't it, where you open up Instagram and the old influencers have got their thermometers in the water, letting you know that the water's cold. I mean, like, you need to know that anyway. If you fall in now, you're going to be cold. I don't need to be told it's cold. There we go. Splendid. So glad I made the move over here onto Unity now. And last time I had a couple of bites at night, didn't I? So you never know. Tonight might carry on. It's nice and still, which means getting the rods out's going to be nice and easy. It feels warm. For December, prime carp catching conditions. Just before I put the bait out, I'm just going to show you my little stacker here. Got my hemp in the bottom one, sweet corn in there. This one here is my little hand rinse. I hate spomming and having a dirty hand, and this is the bait that I'm using. I'm sure there'll be someone watching this that really wants to know what's inside, won't you, mate? You know who you are. But there's the mix: hemp, sweet corn, crumbed up boilie and chopped worm. Now I've gone more heavy on the hemp because, like I say, this is a really shallow lake and the birds are a nightmare. And that's a nice dark mix, that is. When that's down on the bottom, obviously I know the bits of corn are going to be really visual, but it's law, you can't put a better bait out without putting some sweet corn in. But that's a real nice, rich bed of bait. You don't need a lot of it. There's probably about 10 midi-X size spoms in there. That's about as much as you want to put in each spom, sort of a mid handful. And that's another thing that I always do. I always fill my spom up with my hand and always obviously wash it off after. And the reason why I do that is because I can feel the weight in my hand. So every time I'm loading, it's just consistent. You know, sometimes if you're using a spoon, you get like a little bit of a gap or something, and I just feel that it loads them inconsistent weight wise. And when you do a lot of spomming, it's all the little things that make the biggest differences. But anyway, there's the mix. Tubby Tom's technical tip: wash your hands afterwards. Your spud rod don't get covered in gunk, and neither do you. Now I'm going to put this bait out there, dead in line with that tree at 80 yards, and hope that there's a few more carp lurking about. All right, well, the rods are back out there. All three are bang on. Bait over the top. Couldn't have gone any better. It's flat calm out here anyway. And I'm only fishing, like I say, 80 yards. Something that I always like to do just before dark. Give myself plenty of time, but redo the rods. You know, I always give myself half hour, 45 minutes before proper last light, just so in case I have any disasters like a crack off or wind my other rod in, you know, you've got time to get them back out there without panicking. A lot of people say they like to put them out and then leave them out then. I'm not saying that's right, I'm not saying it's wrong. You know, everyone wants to do things differently, but my first bite was on the right hand rod, then I had a bite on the left hand rod, re-chucked all three of them, then I had another bite on the left rod. Now, I always think, and this is just me, I don't worry, but I do worry sometimes that when you get a bite and your rods are all close together, we've all seen it on underwaters, you know, where the fish bolt off once they've been sort of hooked, and all bits of sediment and stuff gets sort of blown up out of the way and lands back on your rigs, and just means I can go to bed knowing that them rods are out there perfect. So redone them, it's looking good. I've got the kettle on, I'm having a coffee, which means I'll be awake till at least 9 o'clock. That's the thing at this time of year now. It's just coming up to 4:30 and it's already dark. But yeah, you sort of lay down, drift off to sleep, wake up and it's 9 o'clock, and then you think, bloody hell, I've got about another 10 hours now till it gets light. So I'm hoping I can stay up till about 9, half 9. Might be a bit more action to keep me busy, but yeah, it's looking good. Well, it's about half hour into dark now. We've just had a massive downpour. The rod's back out there, and we've got another carp, which is good, very good. And I've got my new tripod, and I've got a couple of these little lights. So I'm hoping that my nighttime filming is going to improve slightly. But I've moved location for tonight, somewhere closer to the bank, nice and flat. I'm going to get him out now and have a little goose. Raining again. I'm not sure how good this is going to look. 32-14 this one. I'm pretty sure I've had this one in the summer. It's got a face only a mother could love. But we ain't complaining when we're catching big carp like this in December. Oh, come on, don't kick off. Look at that. I'll show you the other side of him. It is teeming down. Don't get me wrong, I'd love to take a bit more time and effort over a 30, because as you know, I love them all. But I want to get back in that bivvy and cook myself a nice bit of tea. Come on, mate. Oh, come on. There he is. I'll say, face only a mother could love. But he's another 30-pounder. Lovely. Well, now that rain's gone, it's actually got pretty cold. A little nibble on the right hand rod, and we have got one of the new stockies. One of the good things at Linear is they always introduce fresh carp into the lake each year. And him there is about 12 or 14 pound. Lovely scaly, but I'm not going to get him out. There he goes. Number 5. Look how clear that water is, like tap water. Well, it's some ungodly time of the morning. What was warm and nice has now turned to ice. I'm a poet and I don't know it. And the left-hander's just gone. There's another carp just down there, so that's good. But look at how bright it is. Moon is well up. See the old breath there rolling in. Proper eerie. But there we go, another bite. Ooh, spooky. Let's get him out. Well, he's actually a bit bigger than what I thought. £30, 10. Come on. This frost has come out of nowhere. Didn't even think it was going to be that cold. Clean fish, this one. Solid. A solid lump of cold water mirror carp. Come on. Come on, let's have a nice look at you. You're a nice fish, you are. There we go. Come on. I just checked them before I put the camera on. It's 2:15 in the morning. Is the time. Not a very sociable hour, but you don't mind being woken up with these. There he is. Look at that. Another lovely carp. Not really a lot else to say, is there? What a touch. Bite number 6, carp number 6. Another 30. Right, I'm going to get him back. I am going to put the rod back out. 5 more spods out. I'm going back to bed. See you in a bit. I am still in bed. Nothing else happened after that bite at 2:15. Although it did go pretty chilly, and one thing that has happened is it is now really foggy. Now, in all my years of carp fishing, I can't remember any time catching a carp or getting a bite in the fog. Is it just me? Let me know in the comments below. Have you caught carp when it's been foggy? I don't know why, why you don't catch them when it's foggy, or if it's actually even a thing, but people I speak to, they seem to say the same thing. I'll spin you around so you can have a little look. But look, I mean, all right, the light's making it look like it's not as foggy because you can still see the horizon line, but trust me, if I was to re-chuck now, I wouldn't be able to see the lead landing, so to me that's foggy. But yeah, never seem to catch when there's a thick mist, and it's classic, isn't it, at this time of year to get that. You know, you get your cold nights and then in the morning you get that, and it's horrible, you know, because it makes all the inside of your bivvy goes damp, all your kit goes damp as well. So sort of got to wait now for probably about half hour, 40 minutes I suppose, once that sun starts poking its head above the trees to burn this off. But yeah, no more fish, but all them rods went, well, the rod that I had the fish on went back out perfect last night, so baited up over the top, and I know that they're out there now, and if a fish comes along, like, there's a good chance of a bite, so I'm not in any rush to redo them, which means I'm gonna have another little nap. Not a siesta really, is it, because I've just woken up. Another little nap, and yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, let me know in the comments below, have you caught a carp in the fog, or do you think it makes a massive difference? Well, there's me talking about, do you get a bite in the mist? Churner in the mist. Well, how about that then for a bit of timing? There's me laying in bed, saying to you all that I've never really caught anything, if anything, when fishing in thick, dense fog. And yeah, left-hander, pulled up to the top, and away it goes. And we've got ourselves another carp. There he is down there in the old net. See the little ball of maggot sticking out of his mouth. Probably another upper double, possibly low 20. Just as the mist starts to clear. But I'm still going to class that as a fog caught carp. All right, let's get him out. Let's have a little look, and we'll see what we got. Come on, Mr. Carp. Very active carp. Oh, it's a nice fish. Not going to weigh him. I reckon he's a mid upper double. It's freezing. Everything's frozen solid. There was me talking about, no, you don't ever catch them when it's misty. And mysteriously, I've caught one. Oh. Come on, come on. reckon it's going to be my last one of the trip as well, because I've got to go home today now. So I'm going to give it another hour, wait for a few things to dry out. I'm going to head for the road. But what a night, eh? 7 carp. I know I've been here 2 nights. I've been obviously on B1 and then a night on here. But you ain't complaining at 7 fish in a night with a trio of 30 pounders as well. There he is. Oh, come on, mate. It's too cold for this. You've got to think to yourself, the quicker you be quiet. There he is. Number 7. And probably one of my first carp that I've ever caught when it's been foggy. Loveliest of times. Well, that's it. Go and grab the last few bits to chuck in the van. I'll give it another half hour, 40 minutes. Nothing else has happened. I'm cold, I'm damp, and I just want to go home. But, you know I've been here for 48 hours and I could stay longer, and people are probably watching this now thinking, mate, you've had 7 fish. Why don't you want to stay even longer? Once I've had my fix, I'm more than happy. And I think it's what a lot of people don't understand. Like, yes, I can fish all the time. I could fish 7 nights a week if I really wanted to. But what I really enjoy is working something out, going, getting my reward, and then going back home. I've got loads of stuff to do, catching up on social media. I've got some TikTok videos to film for Korda. I've got to get the house ready, because probably by the time this video goes out, we would have just picked up our new puppy, a Doberman called Oakley, who's going to be joining me on the bank for the foreseeable future. So I've got Herbie at home, the best dog in the world, but he just doesn't like fishing. And I really, really used to love, should I say, taking Herbie fishing. So if you see us on the bank, make sure you come over. He'll have a little treat. I'll have a cherry coke. Until next time, if I don't see you all before, I hope you all have an amazing Christmas and a very happy and prosperous, big word for me, New Year. I hope you achieve all that you set out to do this year. And if you haven't, don't worry about it. Roll again next year. But one thing that you need to keep doing, keep on loving life, keep on going fishing and enjoying it for you. Don't forget to hit the subscribe, whatever. We've grown this channel now from 3,500 followers at the start of 2025. And we're going to be ending 2025 with just over 12,000. So a massive love to each and every one of you. And I'll see you on the next adventure.